I love you, Diane.
Number 10. Santa Sangre. The legacy of filmmaker Alejandro Jodorowsky is one that's firmly tethered to both controversy and artistic passion.
With your hands and my body, we'll have an act that will be sensational.
Santa Sangre was released years after Jodorowsky first made headlines with his midnight movie called hits El Topo and The Holy Mountain. 1989 proved that this maestro had lost none of his boundary-pushing power, however, as evidenced by the film's visual aesthetic.
You're about to witness the ultimate miracle.
Santa Sangre is colorful and morbid, grotesque yet beautiful. Jodorowsky also peppers his film with subtextual references to trauma and psychological damage.
You can't atone for your sins with nightmares.
It all comes together to form an experience that may be occasionally difficult to watch, yet compels us to stare into its abyss all the same.
What's happening to you?
Nothing. It was just an hallucination.
Number 9. The Baby. The term infantilism isn't generally used today in the medical world, but 1973 was a long time ago, a perfect time for a film like The Baby.
When was the last time Baby had an examination? Why do we have to talk about Baby all the time? Well, we don't. I'd like to find out more about you.
Director Ted Post's work within the medium of television allows for this film's visual style to play into the overall confusion surrounding its protagonist, Anne.
Your son was everything to me. I know.
The Baby feels like a fuzzy, retro sitcom come to life, only with a very twisted premise. Anne's own feelings of guilt play into her decision to take the case of a family with a very special individual. Things end up being not as they seem, of course, and trust us when we tell you that we just can't spoil the ending of The Baby. You'll have to check it out for yourself.
I only thought...
Well, maybe you think too much. When it comes to Baby, I do all the things.
Number 8. Possession. Much has been written about this cult psychological horror thriller from writer-director Andrzej Jodorowsky.
If I threw myself at your feet and yelped, would you still walk over me?
Yes!
1981's Possession is largely seen today by critics as something of a masterpiece, despite its brazen and disturbing special effects work. Jodorowsky has been quoted describing Possession as something of an autobiographical piece, dramatizing his real-life divorce within a plot that includes espionage, creature effects, and an absolutely riveting performance from Isabella Gianni.
You are not different from anyone else. We are all the same, but in different words, with different bodies, different versions.
The latter is truly the star of the show here, showing no restraint within scenes that honestly demand a lot of physicality and hysterics from the actor. Possession is truly one of a kind.
I can't exist by myself because I'm afraid of myself, because I'm the maker of my own evil.
Number 7. Tetsuo the Iron Man. It isn't every day that a movie could potentially be referred to as an all-out assault, but that's exactly what watching Tetsuo the Iron Man feels like, especially for the first time. This feature was written, produced, and directed by Shinya Tsukamoto, and is an artistically shot piece to be sure. It's also, however, a relentless attack in the audiovisual department, battering the senses of its viewer. The gruesome special effects depict a man undergoing a violent physical metamorphosis into a machine. Meanwhile, the score from Chu Ishikawa echoes this body horror madness, scraping and scarring the audience with harsh walls of noise. Number 6. Gummo.
Senior, Ohio. Senior, Ohio. A few years ago, a tornado hit this place.
Many critics took major notice of 1995's Kids. That film featured a screenplay from Harmony Korine, and it was the success of Kids that allowed for him to helm his first feature, Gummo. The end results were predictably unique, perhaps to a fault.
You chaired Wiggly?
Yeah.
You know Hunt?
Yeah.
He told me some stuff about you. What did he say?
They also didn't hold the hand of anyone who liked kids, and expected more of the same from Corin. Gummo eschewed traditional story structure in favor of malcontent slice-of-life vignettes from a small Ohio town that's been victimized by a tornado.
Oh boy, getting that stuff in my hair.
Unforgettable images, such as the spaghetti in the bathtub scene or an accompanying soundtrack full of harsh black metal music, proved that Gummo was going to do whatever the hell it wanted, and it didn't care if you were along for the ride.
Life is beautiful. Really it is. Full of beauty and illusions. Life is great. Without it, you'd be dead.
Number 5. Faces of Death. The world of Mondo cinema is one that exists at the nexus point combining documentary filmmaking and exploitation.
If nature doesn't destroy the environment, it is very possible that the human being will.
It's a genre that dates back to the 1960s, encompassing everything from travelogue films to the reality embodied by Faces of Death. This was a home video staple in the 1980s for horror-loving youth, thanks to its very simple premise.
Lisa, how do you feel about the thought of going into the water with a potentially dangerous animal?
Not me, no more.
Faces of Death contains scenes of violence and death that are occasionally legitimate, usually ripped from newsreel footage. Much of it, however, is staged, but this takes little away from the shock value of its initial release.
Some people will place themselves in precarious situations even when they're aware of the risk. Could this be caused by a latent death wish?
There's also the cult fandom surrounding franchises like Faces of Death that ask real questions as to the complicity of enjoying such material in the privacy of our homes. Number 4. Begotten. This is one of those cult films that's largely survived through reputation and word of mouth alone. Begotten is an uncategorizable cult film that largely exists within the horror space, thanks to the harrowing nature of its visuals. Director Elias Merhige crafted an art piece that works as a silent, black and white slow burn with a non-linear narrative. The experience of watching Begotten is one that's best enjoyed alone and in the dark. Meanwhile, the controversial Death of God sequence is one that seems to be permanently a part of the Begotten conversation amidst cult film circles. Well, that and the film's permanent fixture within the bootleg/gray market arena, since finding physical copies of Begotten has proved difficult for fans. Number 3. Nekromantik. Are you one of those movie fans that's always seeking out the next extreme thing to explore one of humanity's greatest taboos? Then perhaps you're one of the many who champion director Jörg Buchreit's 1987 cult classic, Nekromantik. This is a film that was banned and censored around the world, yet one that's also been praised in the modern era for its morose and melancholic beauty.
Einmal Kino. Right Bier? Päckchen Sonnenblumen, ein Päckchen Erdnüsse.
Nekromantik isn't only about loving the dead. Buchreit's film also explores themes of social apathy, of internal anxiety, and our collective fear of dying and the unknown.
Ja, den.
That?
Meanwhile, the soundtrack to Nekromantik juxtaposes scenes of sex, death, and real animal violence to musical moods of unique and subtle darkness. Number 2. Men Behind the Sun. There is no joy to be found within 1988's Men Behind the Sun.
Attention! Down! Prone position, crawl!
Nor is there any sort of comeuppance for the wartime atrocities committed by the Imperial Japanese Army within this dramatization of the real-life Unit 731.
What was that injection this morning? I've had no reaction at all.
I don't know what it was.
Instead, this film from director Mao Tun-fei, under the pseudonym of T.F. Mao, feels like a hate letter from Hong Kong, delivered under the guise of exploitation cinema. The special effects here were among the most infamous of the time, leaning almost into faux snuff territory. However, there's also the allegedly very real footage of a human autopsy, as well as a controversial scene featuring a cat. Don't say that we didn't warn you.
Well, gentlemen, I can tell you, this is not the end.
Number 1. Man Bites Dog. The NC-17 rating isn't one that's usually doled out for North American theatrical releases, yet this definitely felt appropriate back in 1992 for Man Bites Dog.
Serre-toi, hein. Servez-vous, hein. Il y en a pour moi, il y en a pour vous. Allez-y, je sais que vous avez des difficultés pour votre film, alors franchement, moi je partage, il n'y a pas de problème. Merci Ben.
This Belgian film is a black comedy / mockumentary that asks its audience questions about violence, how we consume it as entertainment, and our places as accessories to its effects.
T'as un zoom sur ta machine. Tu sauras me faire un zoom et me dire où il est?
The documentary film crew featured in Man Bites Dog are following a hitman during his day-to-day murders. Soon, however, the lines between documentary impartiality and complicity are blurred, and the crew finds themselves unable to detach from their subject. All of this is told within the film's outstanding black and white photography, a thing of beauty that exists alongside unrepentant violence. What to you defines a cult classic? And is there a point where movie making goes too far? Let us know in the comments.
The end of the beginning or the beginning of the end? I'll leave that decision to you.